it's on and on that drives me on till all is gone except the simple glance of my submit.
Hello there, Starscream back for a relatively quick review today, and this is one I haven't done before because it's not a Transformer. As you can probably guess by the startup, it's Cycle, and as we know, it's a GoBot, and as we also know, GoBots among the fans of Transformers are considered somewhat of a joke. Now, GoBots as a show wasn't great, so I'm not going to attempt to defend the show. It wasn't a great show. The films were rubbish, and they tried to introduce Rock Lords. And I've got a Rock Lord, so I may show it to you, but not now. So we have, in the GoBot show, we have Guardians and Renegades. Now, initially, Cycle was a Guardian. And he's supposed to be a friend of Leader 1. I don't ever recall him being a friend of Leader 1, but apparently he was. And he starts to think to himself, well, I'm the strongest, I'm the most powerful. I think I would do a better job of ruling Gobotron. Very similar to Cybertron, but called Gobotron. So he wants to be ruler of Gobotron. So, has a falling out with Leader 1 and the other Guardians, forms the Renegades, and he is their leader. Now, Cycle, as a character, has two varying forms. There was the Robo-Machines, which is the Japanese one, and then there's GoBots, which the Americans changed them into. Now, the GoBot show, it's very similar on some lines to Transformers, and then it goes off on a slight tangent, because if I recall, GoBots aren't, well, they're robots, but they weren't always robots. I think they're originally organic in origin, and I think they progressed up, and they became robotic. Now, don't quote me on that, I can't remember where I read that now, but I think they are originally organic, or some form of cybernetic life form, but they become purely robotic and start to transform. Now, as we know, Cycle is in red and blue. Now, he looks very colourful for a bad guy, doesn't he? He's not the sort of thing you'd interpret a bad guy being. That's because initially, I think in Robot Masters or the Japanese show, he's a good guy, he's a hero. So, red, blue and white is quite a nice colour, isn't it? For a good guy, not for the leader of the bad guy. Now, as you know, there's varying sizes and forms of GoBots. Now, this is the original Cycle. Tiny, tiny little toy, isn't it? No wonder Transformers sold better. They don't actually have any weapons, GoBots, but he fires lightning bolt things out of his... What the hell are they? Meat hooks. Wherever they are, he fires bullets out, or lasers out of them. Now, what they did later on in the toy run, and obviously to show that he's evil or bad, they did a black and green one of Cycle. Very nice. Unfortunately, though, because of the show, and he'd already been animated and drawn and coloured, they had to keep with these colours. See, I don't buy they had to keep with these colours. How many times has Megatron changed into Galvatron, okay? Just at will, he goes, and he's back to being Galvatron. Or Megatron, or whichever he is at the time. They could have done the same with this chappie. He could have had a merging, or an experiment, or an upgrade, and he could have been put in these colours. But they never did. I'm going to try and get one of these, another one, and repaint him into that. But that's a work in progress, and I haven't got a lot of time at the moment. Anyway, back to Cycle. He's very reminiscent to me of Megatron. He's quite ruthless. He doesn't take as much crap as Megatron did, alright? If they step out of line, he puts them back behind it. He don't take many messing around. In that aspect, he reminds me of Prime, I'll be honest. But he don't take any crap. He's got a deep voice. He looks like he's got a bit... If you watch a cartoon, it looks like he's got a bit of stubble growing around. He was trying to grow a bit of a goatee. I'm never quite sure what was going on with that. But yeah, I like Psycho in the show. As I said, he's very reminiscent of Megatron, and he was kind of nice. Now, as we know, no prizes for guessing, and with a name like Psycho, he transforms into a boat, doesn't he? No, we all know it's a motorcycle. And I might do this on camera, because as we know, gobots have a very simple transformation. That comes up. I'm going to swivel that round. This comes down. And I think that slides up here. That goes in there, and that wheel pops in there, and that's it. Look, that's primarily it. And as we know, there's a problem with gobot toys. They've always got their face shown at the bottom of them. They even make a thing of it out of Copter and... What's that little scooter one? I've forgotten his name. Rubbish to it. Anyway, Psycho was easily my favourite out of the GoBots show. And as we know, the Robo Machines. In Robo Machines, or... No, not actually Robo Machines. The Japanese continuity, they were mech things like the original Diaclone Transformers. But when it moved to America, because of the way that Transformers that was heading to be, because the Americans were buying the Diaclone series, they thought, well, we're given some competition, we'll have to do the same thing. We don't want mech pilots in them. Scooter, that's it, sorry. Scooter was the name of it. Sorry, forget that anyway. As I was saying, yeah, so they thought they'd go along the line of making these purely robotics with an intelligence of their own, as opposed to a little mech pilot. Where would they put the mech pilot on that? God knows. Anyway, so that's the story of what Psycho actually is, and that's how he comes to being. Now, there is in Transformer Origins, I think it's the second one, he has a fight with Megatron. I mean, Megatron kicks the crap out of him, but it's nice that they paid homage to it. He's obviously represented as being much larger than he is in GoBots. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they are actually smaller in size, in comparatively speaking to humans than Transformers are. But I'd have to look through the shows. I haven't watched them for years, and to be honest with you, I go back and watch them now, and I'm bored. They haven't aged well at all. I mean, the Transformers... I'm a bigger fan of Transformers, you probably know. That behind me. But the shows have aged better. The storyline is better. They had tech specs on the back of the box. With these things, you're lucky you got a flipping name with them. Let alone a characterisation. All the characters that you had were portrayed in the show. That's where you based the character on. If they hadn't done the show, you got nothing else to go on. There wasn't really a proper comic run either. But there you go. Psycho is a cool bad guy. And Crusher scares me. So I'm not doing a review of her or him or... Gosh, truth, I'm not sure what's going on with that at all. But Psycho is one badass. I kind of like Seakill. No, Psykill. Great toy. Try and get the supersized one like I've got here, if you can. Because the little tiny little mini one is too small. Bumblebee could kick his ass. Get that one if you can. Anyway, that's just a quick look at GoBots and Psykill. Because I like this toy. I may do a fight between Megatron and Psykill sometime. But yeah, leave that with me. If you're interested, I might try and put that together. But anyway, that's me. That's Starscream. That's Psykill. Talking about GoBots. Probably won't do that again for some time. And I hope you enjoyed it. So, take care. See you lot out there soon.
Back when I was just